guys, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to be filming a video on everything you need to know about the Australian working holiday visa. So this video is kind of like my first video idea when I started YouTube, and the reason for that is because I actually had no idea what a working holiday was until I planned on coming here. And I know that sounds crazy. How don't you know what a working holiday is? Like, every country basically has one. But no, I'm kind of stupid, and honestly I feel like no, I'm not kind of stupid. Like, these are things people don't tell you or teach you in school or tell you how to do. So you know what? Screw that, I'm not an idiot. So today I'm going to be telling you every single little thing here, there, before, after, during, everything that you need to know about the Australian working holiday, okay? Okay, so grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, because this is gonna be a long one and you're gonna need to remember all this information. Also, if you guys have been liking these videos, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Oh my god. Well, don't forget to put those notifications on so you are reminded every single time your girl posts a video. Alright, so before everything, before you even buy a plane ticket, what is the question you ask yourself? I want to work in Australia. What do I do? First of all, there are some rules to being able to get a working holiday visa. The first and easiest rule is you have to be at least 18 years of age and you can't be older than 30. In between that age gap, then amazing, you passed the first step. The second thing is they want to make sure that you don't have any kids. And I know this sounds kind of weird, but they just want to make sure that nobody's dependent on you. This application is strictly just for you, not for your children. And they want to make sure that you can support yourself and you're not leaving your children at home, that sort of thing. Another thing, obviously, that they're looking for is to make sure you're not a criminal or a murderer. I think that's pretty simple. Nobody wants to let murderers into their country. So yeah, as long as you're not a murderer, you're okay for that one. And also they want to make sure that you're healthy. No, in the past and maybe even in the future, because they are getting a little bit as in a lot more strict on immigration in Australia. They sometimes ask you for medical work just to make sure that you're healthy, so nothing is going to go wrong while you're in the country. So this is strictly just for your benefit. They don't want you to be wasting all your money in the hospital. So you're in between 18 and 30. You're healthy, no kids, and you're not a criminal. What's next? The application. So how do you go about the application? There's always a bunch of questions for this one, and that's kind of self-explanatory. So you're gonna go on Immigration Australia. I will link that down below, and on there, there's a working holiday category. And when you click on that, it is just a basic, and when I mean basic, I mean basic application. So you fill in your name, your address, your height, your weight, your passport number, where you're from, stuff like that. They ask you your criminal record. Have you ever been to jail? Have you ever done this? Have you ever done that? If your answers are gonna be no, then there's only like 5. If you answer yes, then maybe it'll break down to a little more. I'm not too sure. I've never clicked yes. I'm not a criminal, but I think it took me maybe 30 minutes to do online. But the thing is, there is a fee. So when I did mine in 2017, the fee was 450 Australian dollars. So yes, this is kind of expensive, but it's really not that bad when you think about you're gonna be staying and working in the country for a year. So after you pay for the visa, it gives you 24 hours to 3 months to get a response. Now that seems crazy, and I know it does. I actually got accepted for my visa, I think it was within 48 hours, but they do say that it can take up to 3 months. So if you are planning on going, don't apply for the visa 2 days before you leave. Don't do that. Give yourself at least 3 months just in case for whatever reason it takes them 3 months to do. That way you don't leave to go to Australia without a visa and you get kicked out, okay? So don't do that. I don't think it'll take 3 months. I've never heard of anybody taking 3 months. Usually it just takes 48 hours and you're fine. You get the visa, you are good to go. So once you're granted the visa, you have 6 months and only 6 months. So if you don't enter the country within those 6 months of being granted the visa, you can never get the visa and you can never apply for it again. So I repeat, 6 months after you're granted the visa, you need to have entered the country. So after you've entered the country, you then only have 12 months from the day you entered. I repeat, from the day you entered. Not the day you applied, but from the day you entered the country, you only have 12 months of a visa before you have to leave. They're very strict on these dates, so make sure you are not a day late with that, okay? After you get accepted for the visa, you have to book a flight. So how do you go about booking your flight? So on this, I would very highly recommend buying a one-way ticket. And I know that sounds crazy because when you're going to Australia on a visa and you land, they may question you saying, when are you coming back? Where's your return ticket? But the reason I'm saying this is because, first of all, you never know when you're gonna go home. Something may happen where you wanna go home early. Something may happen where you decide, oh, I wanna get the second year. For personal experience, things do happen. So just book a one-way ticket to make sure that you don't have to reject that flight home, or you don't have to switch it, or you don't have to waste your money on a return ticket. Just get the cheapest one-way ticket you can find. Another thing is that they make sure you have 5,000 Australian dollars when you enter the country. So I know upon arrival, they can actually make sure that you have 5,000. So you might have to bring a statement. I personally didn't because I'm an idiot, but fortunately they don't typically ask this question, but I know that they tell you you need to have 5,000 Australian dollars when you enter the country. And the reason for this is they just want to make sure that you're entering the country and you'll be able to sustain yourself and live and not become homeless and starving. Basic enough, right? So you just booked your flight, you just landed in Australia, yay, you're finally in the country. So before you can start working, what do you need? First of all, the first thing I would say that you need is a phone. I know that that sounds crazy as the very first thing, but you don't know where you are, you don't know anything, you don't know maps, you don't know how to get anywhere. So the first thing you do when you get there is buy yourself a SIM card. So before you come to Australia, I would highly recommend you unlocking your phone. This is because when you get there, you don't want to have to buy a new phone. It's just kind of annoying to buy a new phone and you already know how to use your own phone. And then when you show up, you literally can just go to a 7-Eleven, a corner store, a Kohl's, a Woolworths, any sort of grocery store, and they sell pay-as-you-go SIM cards. So you literally just show up, it's $40 for a whole 28 days of unlimited calling, unlimited texting, and 7 gigabytes of data. So that is perfect because you're gonna need your data, I'm telling you. Do not get the cheaper plan without data because you will be screwed. Definitely get the one with 7 gigabytes when you first land because you're gonna be using maps all day. I remember when I landed, they had a deal, 15 gigabytes for 20 bucks. How amazing. Everybody choose Optus. I love Optus. I literally remember using up all 15 gigabytes of data before the month had even ended because I was always on maps. I was always like trying to figure out where I was going, looking up the transit, looking up stuff like that. So first thing you do is get a phone. Second thing you do, get a bank account. So the reason why a phone is more important at this stage is because you need to figure out how to get to the bank. So basically there's a lot of typical, I guess you can say, banks in Australia. I personally am with Commonwealth, but I know there's Australian National Bank, there's NBZ, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of different banks. Just pop into one, pretty sure they're all the same. Just go with the one with the lowest fee. So really all you have to do is walk in and tell them you want to start a bank account. And really all they need from you is your passport, and then if you have that 5,000 Australian on a check, deposit it into that account and bang, 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 you're good to go. All right. So you have your phone, you have your bank account. Now, how do you get a job? This is the #1 question and everybody always asks me this. If you're coming to Australia, do not even bother. When I mean don't bother, I literally mean do not bother trying to get a job before you come. I'm being serious. The reason for this, and I know that some people, including me, when I first came, I was so stressed. I was like, oh my God, I need to have a job, I need to have a job. Employers are not gonna want to hire you if you're all the way across the country. They're gonna want you in for an interview. Why would you bother applying for a job when you're like, oh, I'm gonna be there in a month? First of all, they're not even gonna need you in a month because they're gonna have been done their hiring. Second of all, why are they gonna choose you? They're gonna wanna speak to somebody face to face, not somebody who may be coming as they say, you know what I mean? It's a waste of the employer's time, and it's honestly a waste of your time because you're not gonna find a job that you enjoy, for that fact, from all the way across the world. So, as that's out there, don't even bother trying to find a job before you get here. And I know that may be stressful. You don't need to find a job the second you get into Australia. You just got here, give yourself 2 to 4 weeks to enjoy your time and find a job that you actually like and a place that you like. You never know what's gonna happen. So in my opinion, don't even bother. That's a waste of your time and a waste of stress. You will find a job, okay? Don't stress, guys. If I can find a job, you can find a job, okay? Anyways, okay, so now that we've dealt with that, jobs, how do you get a job? So when you come to Australia, I would recommend having your resume or CV, whatever you want to call it, on a USB. And then once you get to Australia, I would go to the local library, and from there I would just print off as many as I can. It's really easy. I think it costs 5 cents per page at the library. Sometimes even at the hostels they have them. Print off as many as you can and start walking, honey. Another thing that you could also do is go online to a website called Seek. So Seek is like an Australian jobs board. You can put in the area as well as the type of job, and then it will just give you a whole list of all the things, and just start applying to everything. I mean everything, okay? When you're looking for a job, you don't even read what the job is, you just click apply. So that's how we go about applying for jobs. But now let's talk about what types of jobs there are. For me personally, I would highly recommend working in hospitality. And the reason for this is hospitality jobs are the easiest to get as well as the easiest to leave. You're coming to Australia as a backpacker and you're constantly just stopping in certain areas for a couple months to get money and continue going. You're gonna want a job that you can easily get shifts, and as many shifts as you need, and then be able to pick up your stuff and go. So the thing that's great about hospitality is the hours are amazing in terms of you can get a lot of them. They're super easy to get. They're super fun to work at. You'll enjoy your time. You'll meet so many friends working at that restaurant, and then you can pick up and go once you've made the money you need. Another thing that a lot of people do for work in Australia is hostels. So this typically you don't actually make money. Majority of the time when you work in the hostel, you get free accommodation. I know that you can work in the hostel and get paid hourly, but I'm almost positive with that you won't get the free accommodation. You'll have to pay for it. So basically what you do is you live and sleep in the hostel in a room with all the other employees, and you work maybe 15 to 25 an hour per week, and that would be doing things like cleaning the hostel. Basically that's it. You just do the cleaning, and then in exchange for your work you get to live for free. So this is perfect if you stay in a place that you out of nowhere just love. You landed in Byron Bay, you were supposed to be there for 2 days, but now you just fallen in love with it. So you work at the hostel for 3 weeks to a month just to enjoy more of your time. It's perfect. I know so many people that have done it. They make so many friends and it's so much fun. So usually when you're working in the hostel for money, that's when you would work jobs like reception. This is something that's very, very common, and it is safe. I know a lot of people are worried about that. Another thing that is very common for work in Australia would be au pair. Au pair is another word, I think it's French. It basically just means nanny. That's all it means. So I know a lot of people that when Australia was their first ever trip abroad, moving on their own, they became an au pair. And I think that is amazing because basically you go on Facebook and you find au pair on the Gold Coast, or au pair in Sydney, au pair in Melbourne, whatever place you want to go. And on that Facebook page, there are families just making all these posts about them needing nannies. So included in this job is your accommodation. So you live in the family's house with them. They pay for your rent, they pay for your food, and they pay you money. What else could you want? It is literally the perfect setup for somebody who is terrified to go out on their own and a little bit nervous, and they need a little bit more security. Because first of all, you're moving in with a family. Those parents are gonna get so close to you. They're gonna be like your own parents, and it's gonna be a safe place to stay. Second of all, everything for you is taken care of. You don't have to worry about finding a job when you get here, or buying food or buying a place to live. Like, it's all sorted for you, and then the job is taking care of kids. So if you love kids, I feel like this would be a very nice, easy, relaxing job for you. The hours are typically Monday to Friday while they're at work, so you almost always get your weekends off and your nights off. So this is also really good being a traveler to have that time off. So it's perfect for you. If that's what you're looking into doing and you're a little bit scared on going to Australia on your own, I would totally recommend doing that, considering it's a lot safer, it's a lot easier in terms of everything's sorted for you. You don't really have to go out and do it on your own. And also, if you ever have any questions, the parents there have lived in Australia for probably their entire life. They can help you with transport. They can help you with what bank to go to or what phone company to go to. They know everything, so they will help you, and they know that you're abroad. They're willing to help you. Like, they understand your situation. Majority of the people that do this have had many au pairs before, so don't worry, you'll be fine. So going along with everything I've just talked about, you need to give yourself at least 2 to 4 weeks to find a job, as you would just in your own country. It's not gonna happen like that. You know what I mean? Finding a job does take time, especially with finding a job that you love. You have money that you've come with, so don't stress out about getting a job the second you've come here, okay? Okay, let's talk about accommodation. So how do you go about finding accommodation? So the first and obvious place to get accommodation is a hostel. Hostels range from about $15 to $30 a night. You'll probably find them more from $20 to $25 a night. And in a hostel, you can rent a bed. Please do not forget that hostels are renting beds, not rooms. So if you personally do not like the idea of that, I would highly recommend Airbnb. You can get one for about $30 a night, which is only $5 more than a hostel. LOL at the fact that it was videotaping for so long that I shut off. So now we're talking about long-term accommodation. Hostels actually are okay for long-term accommodation. I know a lot of people who have lived in the Gold Coast for 4 months and have always lived in a hostel. It's just what they want to do. If you're the party type of person and like to meet new people all the time, that would be great for you. But the best place is Flatmates. So I'm gonna link that down below as well, flatmates.com.au. Flatmates is the most beautiful browser ever, I swear to God. So you just search the location that you want, and then the map will pop up with different prices. When you like a price that you see in the location that you want, you just click it and it'll say all their information. So take into consideration, again, this isn't like you're owning or renting a house. You're renting out a room in somebody else's house. So this could be a group of travelers, or this could be a uni house. This could be someone's house who has kids. You never know what it may be. So that will be linked in the bottom of their description. Also on Flatmates, you can create your own profile talking about yourself. You can hook up with other flatmates and you guys can search together. It's a perfect forum, and to find a place to live for a couple months is amazing because all you need to give is typically 1 to 3 weeks rent up front, and then when you leave, they'll give you that rent back. So there's no security. You can leave whenever you want. It's perfect for backpackers. I high key recommend it. All right, so now that we've discussed everything about the first year visa, then we're gonna go to the second year visa. The second year visa is definitely not as easy or effortless as the first year visa. To get your second year, you have to do 88 days of regional, aka farm work. Okay, so the farm work needs to be paid and it needs to be full-time. So basically what this means is you will live and work on a farm for 88 days or 3 months straight, and after that you will apply for the visa. And you can apply for this visa with your pay slips, and they need to be signed and dated by your employer, and again you need to pay 450 Australian dollars. The biggest thing that you need to remember about this farm work is that it needs to be done within your first year visa. From personal experience, I would highly recommend that you do your farm work either the first second you get to Australia or within that first 6 months, because things do change. The law changes with Australian government, or things may change in your workplace. Maybe you can't find work. There's a million different reasons. So for your own safety, I would highly recommend starting the farm work within your first 6 months of the visa. That way it gives you enough time to apply for the visa after you've finished it. How do you find farm work? So most commonly, farm work is done in Queensland, and the reason for this is mainly because of the weather. Let's be honest, Queensland is the sunny state, and how do things grow? With the sun. And no, I'm not saying you have to do it in Queensland. There are farms everywhere. It's just the most common place. How do you go about finding it? So you can always look on Gumtree, but what I found to be most helpful is Facebook groups. So there's lots of Facebook groups that are strictly made for people on Australian working holidays looking for farm work. In there, I would recommend making a post saying that you're looking for farm work, and also on there, a lot of employers post saying that they're looking for employees. Another thing that's really popular is, yet again, living in a hostel. So a lot of hostels in Queensland are affiliated with farms. So what that means is when you live at the hostel, every single morning a bus will come and they will pick up those that are staying in the hostel. So it's kind of like a first come, first served basis. And the thing that is great about that is you're living in a hostel, you're having fun with other people. But the thing that sucks about that, they try and make it sound like you're only gonna be there for 3 months, but the farms won't always go to the hostels and pick you up. Some days they don't need you. So you could be there for 5 months having only done 3 months of work. There are also independent farms. So on Gumtree, you will find like a family that owns a farm and you could live with them and work on the farm. These jobs will typically be different jobs, whereas when you're working on a big farm, you're gonna be fruit picking and stuff like that. But when you're working with a family farm, odds are you're just gonna be doing the stuff that the family wants you to do. So who knows what it may be. They're your employer, you just do what they say. But in my opinion, that's better than picking berries. If you do have any other questions about farm work, please don't be afraid to ask. Farm work is not as hard to find as people think, and the reason for that is because everybody needs to do it. So you do only get one shot at a second year. If you don't do your farm work within the first year, you can never apply for the second year visa. And going along with that, the second year visa does not have to be consecutive. So say I do my farm work and I decide I want to do the second year visa. When my first year visa is done, I can go home, I can go to Thailand, I can go to Europe, I can go wherever I want for however long I want. And then I can come back, and from the day I enter the country, I will have 12 months of a visa again. Just like your first year visa, you do have to be younger than 30 and older than 18. So before I end this video, I do want to add in a couple of tips. So there are companies that will help you out in coming to Australia. And these services would be like finding you jobs, getting you a phone plan, getting you a bank account, getting you a tax file number. So there are lots of companies that do things like this for you. And if you're somebody that really wants the security and you're somebody that's really afraid to move out on your own and you don't really know what to do, then this is a good option for you. It can really help you if you're worried about being on your own and you're really stressed about this job. On the other hand, companies like this will make you pay like $1,000 to $2,000. I just don't really think it's worth it. Yes, they help you and it's so amazing because you get so much reassurance and you always have somebody there. If something goes wrong, they will always help you. You can always email them. They will always be there for you. So if you're the type of person that is really worried about coming to Australia on your own, then this is definitely an amazing option. But if you're somebody who's very independent and can figure things out on their own, personally, I think this is just a waste of $1,800. The things that they're doing for you are all things that you can do for yourself for free. So realistically, you're just paying for the reassurance. You're not really paying them for a service. Yes, they say that they will get you jobs, but odds are they won't really help you as much as you think that they will. Personally, I did get help with my first job, but every single job that I've had after that, I have found on my own. If you are really worried and this is your first time moving away from home, definitely go ahead with it. Personally, I did it. I was scared. I didn't know what I had to do, but now that I've had that help and I know what I'm doing, I wouldn't pay for the service again. If you've traveled before, wouldn't do it. If you've never traveled before, look into it. Okay, so this is basically every single thing I could possibly tell you about the Australian working holiday. I will link every single link in the description box that I discussed in this video. If there are any other questions about Australian working holidays, do not be afraid to comment below. I am more than happy to help with stuff like those companies and other things like that. And yeah, thanks guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys. And yeah, that's my new thing, guys. That's gonna be my thing.